will tell you and show this. Hundreds, thousands of people are seeking for his help. Soviet television made his famous in one night, overnight. After this program, thousands of people could see it. Not every soccer game could gather so many people. What is the secret of his popularity and his success? His remarkable capacity to influence people through distance. It's one of the qualities of his and his methods.
Look at me only.
Dr. Kashpirovsky is organizing volunteers for television. They are 70 kilometers from the doctor.
Есть много каналов на зрение, но я не могу действовать на кожу.
To influence self-regulation through the ears, through the sight, through the skin. At the moment, I can only influence the ears and the sight, but not the skin. But now I'll make him totally numb.
Show the photograph. At this photograph, I used to weigh 132 kilos. Can you see? It's a different person now. Here, I weigh 100 kilos. And now, I weigh 76, even less.
And even more sensational were his operations at the oncological center. The patient was Sylvia Oligier without anesthetics. Dr. Kashpirovsky performed his operation perfectly well.
Both arms numb, legs as well, no pain.
In the course of the operation, the patient didn't feel any pain whatsoever.
We've won. We've won.
And after the operation, both patients and the doctor, they are discussing the things and their success.
No. It didn't happen. Just the pain was removed around the area of operation.
There's nothing to add.
So, Birmingham, we have in our studio in Kyiv Dr. Karparovsky, who became the sensation of this year, Anatoly Kasparovsky, and he'll tell you everything himself and show himself everything. So, what is the essence of your method?
Good evening. I am glad to meet with you. Больше я других слов сказать не могу.
I know no other words in English.
Мы располагаем очень малым
We've got a
количеством
complicated method, we've got very little time to talk about it.
What is the main purpose of your method?
The main purpose is not to remove pain. It just proves that you can influence people at a distance. As can be nothing more convincing than removing pain, so I decided to do surgical operations. I started doing television treatment, television psychotherapy. Large masses of people need this treatment because we cannot treat people who live in faraway places. For instance, children who cannot contain their urine. If clinics treat all these children, it'll take them about 5,000 years. With the television, you can do it in 8 hours. It doesn't matter how it works. It can be done on a video cassette. It can be done anyway. People can be treated by using video cassettes.
Dmitry, I wonder if Dr. Kasparovsky could give us a demonstration of some of his powers in the Soviet Union. We are fascinated by what he has to say here in your studio.
First, I'll try it here, and then I'll do it there. My experiments are complicated. They are very rigid. And if you agree to these experiments, then very strict experiments, then I'll reach them as well.
Andy is thinking, it seems to me. Are you India? And because there is some yes, delay, let us have a look at what is going here.
A needle.
Кстати, это Любовь Гробовская.
This is
Сразу стерильный ват.
This is Любовь Grabowska.
Так, ну кто желает?
The thought
like
of
to
a
come?
needle here,
Would you
Dmitry,
like to?
is making people
Let's take a young
slightly
man.
unnerved, shall I say.
You would like to do it as well? Come along.
Я хочу сказать,
I'd like to say
что я не усыпляю человека, не
that I
вызываю
do
гипноз.
not make people sleep through hypnotism.
Ответьте, вы все соображаете, понимаете, вы не спите?
Do you
Yes, I
understand everything?
understand
You're not asleep?
yes, I understand everything.
Sit down.
Садитесь.
So the
Sit
needle has gone through
On
the
the other
hand,
side.
and the lady in question, Dr.
needle,
Kasparovsky, felt no pain at all.
Has gone through her hand.
No, I can't feel anything.
Sit down.
Смотрите сюда.
Look here.
Пальчики напрягите.
Strain your fingers.
Шаг назад, шаг назад.
Step back. One step back. Over the rope.
Dr. Kasparovsky, I can tell you that people in Birmingham here are certainly
I'd like to
impressed
say-
with what they've seen you do so far. Obviously, the thought of being able to carry out operations feeling no pain as a result of listening to your voice, it's something which would be very interesting to our medical profession over here. I have with me Dr. Vernon Coleman. Dr. Coleman, are you impressed
my
with the
voice.
prospect of what Dr. Kasparovsky could do? And do you think it would be useful to the medicine that we actually have in the United Kingdom?
I wouldn't let him through customs. I think he's a crook and a charlatan and a sham, from what I've just seen there. I am very sad because this sort of technique is very useful and is extremely effective at dealing with pain. There are lots of reasons why it works, why this sort of using mind over matter, if you like, works. It's not new. It was first used in the middle of the 19th century by an English doctor in India who did 300 operations under hypnosis.
Okay, let Dr. Kasparovsky... excuse
let
me.
me tell you what my specific objections are to this man who looks as if he probably also bends spoons in his spare time.
Well, make them quick, because I'd like Dr. Kasparovsky
Okay,
to
well,
respond.
my first
take the
and
needles
main
out.
objection is that this man who claims to be a doctor is pushing people over so that they fall over flat on their back. I don't know of any doctor in the world who would do that with a patient. It's just so outrageous.
Wipe it up.
Okay,
beggars belief.
let us move on from what Dr. Kasparovsky is doing there to the prospect of the fact that he is able
here,
to
come here, young man.
allow operations to take place without anaesthetic.
Yeah, it's perfectly possible to use techniques like this. What happens, the whole way that the human body deals with pain is in fact quite complicated, but I'll try to be very simple. If you bang your thumb with a hammer, then the pain messages travel up very thin nerve pathways, up through a gateway in your spinal cord, and then reach your brain and tell your brain that you've been hit on the thumb with a hammer. If you then touch your thumb as well, sensory pathways pass up thicker nerve fibers and reach
like
the
to say
same
something.
gateway and can block those pain messages, which is why if you rub your thumb...
Okay, Dr. Kasparovsky, that is one view from a member of the medical profession in the United Kingdom. I would like you to respond, because I think it's only fair for you to respond to the accusation that, in fact, what you're doing is not necessarily different and that what we would call a crook. How do you respond to what the doctor has said?
I'd like to say that's not accusation, it's a matter of competence. I think this overcautiousness is worse than charlatanism. Charlatans are when people are not medics. When a person who experiments like this doesn't understand what he's doing. Here we have a boy who half a year ago had his spine broken. And I showed how having talked to him, I made him, and I also like to say that this doctor did not hear what I said about the reason for my operations. Millions of people cannot be
Just a
treated
second, will you? Dr. Kasparovsky, can I just
cannot
ask
have
Dmitry, who
psychotherapy.
is with you at the moment, to find out what perhaps the impression of your work is as far as the Ukrainian Health Ministry is concerned? Are doctors in tune with what Dr. Kasparovsky is doing out there?
Do we have medical workers here, doctors? Yes, over to you.
I'd like to say that Dr. Kasparovsky certainly has certain possibilities, but I believe that to use these possibilities in front of large public at a stadium is unethical and inhuman. Why is that?
Dr. Kasparovsky, he has phenomenal abilities and he helps people. That's absolutely marvelous.
Let me intervene here.
This woman, under my influence, I had hypertension, now I have normal tension, lost weight, now feel all right, now I can walk.
Okay, Dr. Kasparovsky, let me bring in someone else over in the United Kingdom who is very closely linked with pain.
Let me first of all talk.
Let me just bring in Dr. Christopher Wells on our front row, who works with the Pain Relief Clinic. Is there a role for the kind of thing that Dr. Kasparovsky is doing in the Soviet Union to help ease pain on some of your patients?
Certainly. We use hypnosis in an ethical manner, as has been commented on by doctors here and over there. We wouldn't do this sort of stage-type performance with patients, but we do use hypnosis, and it's a useful tool. It's not a new thing at all. And it's a valid technique for relieving pain. One of the problems with it is it doesn't have a long-term effect. So we see if we've got someone with chronic pain, it can only help them for a period of time. It doesn't cure them.
Let me now ask Dr. Kasparovsky, Dmitry, whether or not he can actually cure people for a long period of time and not just for a matter of moments.
First, we'll come back to one of our patients, which are interested from Kasparovsky's point of view.
I'd like my patients to talk.
I have osteochondrosis, and for more than a year I could not walk. My arm, my neck was stiff. This was my stiff collar. I have to walk around with it. And Dr. Kasparovsky cured me in 2 sessions, and I lifted my arm and I could hold it up. For more than 10 years, I had attacks of very serious disease. My blood circulation was damaged, and I had hemorrhage from my nose, bleeding. In 2 sessions, he's alleviated all that.
Dr. Kasparovsky, there are other members of the medical profession in the United Kingdom who want to join in this debate here. We have a specialist in anaesthetics. Yes, who would like to comment on what we've actually been listening so far.
I do agree with Vernon Coleman that what we've seen tonight are essentially stage tricks. I'm concerned about 2 things. People such as this, and this has been reported before, it's been seen before, who present individual cases, present their successes. What we don't know is the failure rate. Now, people have done, as has been said before, have done operations under hypnosis before. The incidence of failure with experts in the Western world is 90% for minor surgery and between 97 and 99% for major surgery. It is not a feasible prospect for the majority of patients. We can see individual cases, we don't know what the failure rate is.
Okay, let Dr. Kasparovsky respond, Dmitry, to that.
Birmingham, Andy, we would like, first of all, to answer the question, how long is the effect of this Kasparovsky's method? And of course, how many patients has he lost?
There is a patient of mine whose chest was operated.
After the operation, I had no pain at all. I heard all the voices. I was talking with Anatoly Mikhailovich during the operation, talking to the doctors.
What I don't understand is that the English doctors do not understand what I'm trying to say. At my operations, is not a proof that I can influence people at a distance. My main sphere of activity is research in biochemistry and also television influence on people.
Dmitry, I wonder if Dr. Kasparovsky then can not talk directly to our doctors and our medical profession, perhaps explain to them and persuade them that what he is doing really does make sound medical sense. We have some skeptical doctors here on the front row.
Let me ask, Dr. Kasparovsky, let me ask you one or two questions. First,
Let
are
us
you
have
a qualified doctor?
very briefly.
First, are you a qualified doctor, and have you ever done any research into the sorts of areas that you describe?
26 years I've been a doctor.
Do the Russian medical authorities have no rules about how doctors behave with their patients?
I'm a doctor. I've been working for 26 years. At the moment in Leningrad, in the Bacterial Institute, we're researching the moment of influence. We're looking for the substances that appear inside human body at the moment of emotional reaction. We would like to find the substances which will give us a chance to treat various
Yes, Dr. Kasparovsky, you're not answering any of the questions.
Whose breast was
Let me just say, at this stage, we have a lot of people who want to say a lot of things, Dr. Kasparovsky. I would like to say this to you.
There's no transgression against ethics.
That you have been very brave to come on tonight and actually answer critics via satellite. We have been impressed with what you've seen. There are some skeptics here. It needs to be talked about in great detail. But thank you very much indeed for being with us in Kiev tonight. And that's where we must end that particular debate. Our thanks to Dr. Kasparovsky and to everyone who took part in that debate in Kiev and in Birmingham. Let us end with the usual Central Weekend manner and say to people in Kiev, let us have the Ukrainian dancers, Dmitry, and end Central Weekend in our normal manner.
Yes, we have, well, they are not dances actually. It is a very popular music, which is very optimistic, and I think it would be a good end of our conversation via satellite.
indeed to you in Kiev tonight. Dimitri, maybe we should have provided the dancing to that marvellous music at our end. It was marvellous.
Yes, it was a good idea, and I think that we'll have another opportunity to do it if we make our bridges stronger, firmer, and we'll meet each other more often. We have an offer that your television would be in Kiev once a month at least.
Thank you very much indeed. All I will say is we would be delighted to go to Kiev, and I can tell you that all of us here have enjoyed being with you tonight. The technical problems, as usual, have always kind of been a difficulty, but we've managed to get over them very well indeed. The satellite has held with us, which is technology on both our sides, and we do hope that we can have these space bridges with you again very, very soon indeed. Thank you to all of your audience. Thank you to all of your musicians. I'm sorry I call them dancers, but I would love to come over and dance with them sometime. From all of us here on Central Weekend, a very good night to you. Do join us at the same time next week.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Birmingham, and welcome from all of us.
Щиро вітаємо.